Now, US is a country which basically goes to other regions and blocks those regions and thinks as if they are the ones who are ruling that region, and if other countries simply follow the international laws and are minding their own business, still USA is attacking them, killing their soldiers, and then threatening them to not do that. Now, unfortunately, we are that country as of now. Yes, that is what has happened. So our vessel, which was sailing near the Strait of Hormuz, which was of course closed by Iran, but Iran had allowed the friendly nation to pass through it, and Iran was not a problem over here, right? But what USA did subsequently is it started its own blockade over there, and when our vessel was passing, it attacked our vessel, and that led to the death of 3 of our Indian soldiers. And it does not stop there. Instead of asking apology or saying or apologizing for this incident, they are rather coming out and saying that, okay, you are supposed to comply with the USA's blockade. Now, this is the sheer arrogance of United States of America. So let us understand as to the timeline as to what has happened and what has been the repercussion of that. Subsequent to that, what has been the reaction of India and of United States of America, and what consequences, implications does that have on India-US relation and other geopolitical dimensions. So first things first, the news. So 3 Indian sailors, they were killed during an attack on our commercial vessel. This was not a military vessel. This was a simple commercial vessel. But this man, who's the representative of United States of America, his country attacked on Indian vessel, killed our soldiers, and this guy has now the audacity to come out and say that you should have complied rather than apologizing, rather than ensuring that it should not repeat. In fact, it should not have happened in the first place. Now, multiple ships with the Indian crew members were targeted. Basically, non-Indian flag ships were also there, but in that Indian crew was there. Multiple such ships were targeted over there. Okay. Now, India lodged a strong protest with the United States. See, that's what we do. See, the idea is over here. In India, if you look at the how the governance system should be, the people should be at the top and below it should be the government. But in India, what we have done, the government sits at the top. You cannot question them. If you question them, it is as if questioning the country only, is what they say. And when anyone protests against the government, they are treated as third-class citizens, and the government does not give a damn about it. Now, ironically, the exact same thing happens when Indian government protests at an international organization or elsewhere with respect to big countries, for example, like United States of America. In that situation, what happens is they become like we are over here, and these countries like USA become like the government of India is there in India, right? So what happens is, what are they doing? They are basically lodging a strong protest with the United States. Okay. Now, but what does USA responds? The same way that our government responds to us. USA goes on to say that, what does it do? It asks all commercial vessels to comply with its blockade measures in the Strait of Hormuz. Right? Does it have any authority? Is it its maritime boundary? Is it its area? Is it its ecological economic zone, or any kind of zone, maritime zone for that matter? It is not. But still, they are ruling over here authoritatively. So it's not sort of whataboutery, you do it over here, so you will also be being done like this by other countries. Of course, it should not happen. So USA, this is not the way that USA should have responded or even done this in the first place. But this is what maybe the government of India can also learn, as to basically empathize with the protest when it happens, and take care of the protest in the country, so that when you are also protesting, you can also get empathy and support from other countries as well. But how they treat their citizens is how they get treated by the foreign countries as well. However, when you write it in the examination, you have to tone it down. Let's see how. So first of all, why it matters? It matters because there is a safety of Indian citizens which is at stake over here. Maritime security is a concern, impact on energy supplies, potential strain in India-US relation will happen. Okay. But the idea is every time we cannot keep on pleasing United States of America, right? Anyway, move ahead. Let's move ahead. The Strait of Hormuz, let's understand the sequence of events. So what happened is the US naval blockade operations intensified around the Strait of Hormuz. This was in response to Iran's closure of Strait of Hormuz. So 3 merchant vessels who were carrying the Indian crew members were reportedly attacked. Out of this, 3 Indian sailors basically lost their life. Now, India summoned the US charge the affairs, means whoever was the charge of the international affairs from the USA, India summoned them, asked them to meet, and then what happened? External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar lodged a formal protest with US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Right, so that is what we did. Okay. Why? Because see, the safety of civilian commercial shipping was at risk. Risk of escalation affecting international trade routes. Further, it can lead to escalation. Okay. Anyway, so let us understand in the Strait of Hormuz, what was the position of US and what was the position of Iran. So US's position was that commercial vessels must comply with US naval instructions. Iran's position was also, before we go out on that, USA blockade intended to maintain security in the Strait of Hormuz. We are blocking for your own security is what they said. But that is of course not the case. USA also accused Iran of attacking ships through the Dons. However, Iran has rejected any such allegations, blamed the US for attacks on the vessels, and also offered condolences for Indian soldiers' death. Right? Of course, condolences doesn't mean much, but it's not Iran who attacked it, probably, right? Because Iran has denied any such allegations, and it's the United States of America that has attacked, which makes it even more clear when they come out and say that you should have complied with the blockade. Right, so Iran has shown their condolences, but USA shows no remorse also. Now, what's the impact of this on Indian foreign policy? The strategic autonomy of India is tested. How much autonomy do we have? What can we do about this when our soldiers are killed? Protection of overseas Indians is an issue. Now there is a greater focus on safety of Indian citizens working abroad, because are we capable of safeguarding our citizens' interest abroad? That is a big question now. Then energy diplomacy, there is a need to secure uninterrupted oil supply. So it basically becomes a diplomatic nightmare for India, that on one side you have the security of your citizens, of your soldiers, on the other side energy security. Of course, life basically supersedes every other requirement. It is as simple as that. So we have to ensure the safety, but at the same time manage the energy security. Then the maritime diplomacy is going to be tested over here. Now, what is the impact of this on India-US relation? This leads to diplomatic concerns. Why? See, India publicly protested against the actions linked to the US naval operations. Now, this is a rare instance of direct criticism against a strategic partner. But at the end of the day, what is it? This is criticism. Imagine a situation if India would have attacked USA's vessel and 3 USA citizens would have been killed. First of all, the USA government would have responded in a completely different manner, completely authoritative manner. Second, the people of USA would have been on street demanding actions by USA government against India. Right, but here we have done Kadi Ninda, as it is famously called. Criticism is what we have done. Fair enough. Potential areas of friction now will be safety of Indian nationals, freedom of navigation, and use of force against the commercial vessel. It's not a military vessel, it's a commercial vessel. Now, what are the broader implications for India? Broader implication is with respect to energy security, maritime security, as well as the trade which is of energy as well as other goods also. See, Energy security is so important. You have environmental security, economic, national. All three are interlinked with respect to energy security, which plays a very important role. So this is a test for India to show its diplomatic supremacy. Supremacy, if I don't use that word, at least its strategic forte or its strategic strength. It is the time to showcase that, and let us see how we basically move ahead with this. Thank you.